Hello and welcome to another video. Today it's something a bit different. We're roasting coffee. More specifically, a Ethiopian Sidamo natural bean. And even more specifically still, 250 grams of that coffee is going in the roaster today, and I'm using the Jenna Cafe home roaster. 250 grams is its maximum capacity. Come and have a look. So this is the roaster in action. This is the extraction, and that's the coffee, that's the cooler. I'll bring you back when there's a bit more to add, because what I'm doing at the minute is I'm simply preheating the chamber where the coffee will be roasted. I'm preheating that for 10 minutes to 200 degrees Celsius. This is batch number 108. So over those preceding roasts, I've had some failures, not many, but I've got to a roast profile now that I know is going to give me consistently good results, and I'll share that with you today. Right, so a little about preheating the roaster. It's important, I've found, to preheat the chamber. You don't want to waste any precious time during the roast cycle heating the cold chamber up, so preheat it first so the beans go into a hot surface. The inside of the chamber is all glass and metal, so you can imagine it's going to take quite a bit of time to heat it up. So I think for that reason preheating is important, and I preheat to 200 degrees Celsius, which takes about 5-10 minutes, and it's well worth investing those 5 or 10 minutes, and be a little bit patient so that the beans are in contact with hot surface. I think typically it's by the time you get the chamber out, get the lid open, get the beans into it, close the lid and back in again, you'll probably find it's at 150 degrees Celsius by then anyway, but it rapidly ramps up. So we'll get to that in a second. So we're approaching the preheat time now, just switching it off. Out comes the drum, in go the beans as quickly as possible. 250 grams, as I said, of Ethiopian Sidamo beans going in there. That's the maximum limit of the machine. There is a mark on the side so you can get a visual indication that you've not overloaded it, but get them in there as quickly as you can and start it up again. I dial on 19 minutes and hit start. So target temperature number 1 is 240 degrees. I'm putting 19 minutes on the timer, and off we go. So the target temperature 240 degrees Celsius, and we're currently at 148. Typically what happens with the Jenna Cafe roaster is first crack is going to be somewhere around 228 degrees Celsius. So as you can see, we've got a way to go yet. So I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing, because the whole process will probably take nearer 20 minutes, including the preheat, 20-25 minutes for the roast. But I'll edit it when it's getting to some of the critical stages and as the beans change colour. So we've got some good bean movement going on there. We're not going to see any changes for the first few minutes. But there's a lot of heat in there already in the metal and glass that's been retained. So we're in good shape to rapidly ramp up the temperature in those beans. What I don't want is a long slow roast where the flavours are stalled and the roast is stalled. One of the things that surprised me about this roaster is once you preheat it, there's very little for you to do other than pay attention as the roasting gets going. So if you're looking for a home roaster that doesn't require to be constantly, providing your own physical input into the roast like you do with a stovetop roaster, for example, on a gas heater, this could be the one for you. All I'm doing really is monitoring the colour, taking into account the aromas coming off the machine, and keeping an eye on the temperature dials. Can you see that the beans are starting to have a yellow appearance about them? Very different from the stone-like colour that they were when they went in the chamber. And in here at the minute, I can, even though that the fumes are being vented out the building, I can smell almost like roast peanuts. That's the aroma that's being given off. And on the side wall you can see some of the chaff is coming off the beans as the beans swell. And that's being wiped into the chaff chamber of the machine by those two paddles. Yeah, around 4 minutes and we're almost dry. We're definitely seeing some advanced yellowing going on. Looking good. We definitely want to see full yellow in our roast, so pay attention to the colour. I'm looking for the colour change to dry end, which varies from bean to bean, but I'm expecting it around 5 minutes. I'm just coming up to 6 minutes expired time and 222 degrees Celsius, so in the next few degrees we can expect to experience first crack. Although looking at the colour of the beans, I would think that that's going to be a little way off yet. Now the beans have sort of moved on from the yellow phase and the early stages of browning. You see they've taken on a light brown colour. I'm not sure how accurate the colour representation of these cameras is really, but it's a light brown at the moment, and we're at 230 degrees. Target temperature, as you probably recall, is 240 degrees. Now as we approach first crack, I'm going to be dropping the temperature as it gets into first crack. I want a nice rolling crack, but I don't want a fast rolling crack, and the reason for that is I don't want to over roast my beans. I want to have enough time in development at the end to develop the flavours of this coffee, all the fruitiness and the acidic qualities. I want to be fully present. When I take it out the roasting chamber and dump it into the cooler, first crack, the rolling crack, will continue, so they do retain a lot of heat for quite a while unless you intervene yourself and rapidly cool them, which is what I'm going to be planning on doing this time, and you'll see that in a minute. I think it's a valuable piece of kit to have a cooling tray with a fan under it, and the temperature of those beans then is rapidly dropped, much quicker than you could do with a couple of containers, which I started off doing, like a colander and a sieve, and interchanging it from one to the other. It's much more efficient. We're at 9 minutes now, 236 degrees. And there's first crack, 238 degrees. I'm dropping it to 235, and I'm going to leave it at 235 for the rest of the roast. You will have heard many people say the Genacappi roaster is very difficult to detect first crack, and that's true. It's easier with some beans than others. Monsoon Malabar, very easy in my experience, less so with these Ethiopians. Right, I'm going to turn my cooler on. Coming up to 11 minutes. I'm happy with the colour. This is a very efficient cooler. And they go from scalding hot to cool in no time. So what did you think about the roast? Let me know what you think, your thoughts, your comments. I'd be interested in anybody's thoughts on home roasting. If you liked it, please consider subscribing. So that's empty now, it's just on its cooling cycle. And the machine's auto cooling cycle will take it down to 60 degrees Celsius and then switch off. In the meantime, these beans are now cool. Still got some skins attached. I'll have to give those a bit of a sieve in. But it's got the usual appearance of Ethiopian. Well, here we go. Moment of truth. I've left it a few days, a couple of days since roasting, and I brewed an Americano at a 3-to-1 ratio. So roughly 30 grams of espresso and 3 times that water. The aroma's fantastic to start off with, but what does it taste like? Well, let me just simply say it tastes bloody good. It tastes bloody good. It is a constant source of surprise and joy to me that I've been able to do something in my garage at home that tastes this good. It tastes like an Ethiopian. If that means anything to you guys, if you tried Ethiopian coffee, you know how complex it is, the berries and whatnot, and it's all there in the cup. I'm so impressed with it. Yeah, so if you've watched this far, thanks for watching. If you're at all tempted to have a go at roasting coffee at home, you can start either in your oven, which I did, makes a mess, wouldn't do it again, or on your stove top in a frying pan, again makes a mess. You might get away with that one if you hoover up quickly after you've roasted it, but it does make a messy kitchen, but produces drinkable coffee. But it's only as I've gone through the popcorn roaster stage and then finally ended up with the Jenna Cafe roaster that I've been able to brew stuff and roast beans that, like this one, blows me socks off. It's fantastic. So yeah, and I can't believe how easy it is to do it as well. So hope it's been useful. If you've got any questions, just drop them below and I'll get straight back to you. Thanks again. Cheers. Bye.